Hello and welcome back to my channel, BookTube friends, Hulu friends, Thriller Thursday friends, whoever it is. Hi. If you're new here, hello, whatever. So, anyway, today we were talking about Nine Perfect Strangers on Hulu. Anyway, let's get started. Um, So the question I had was, is the show better than the book? And I really was not expecting it to be worse than the book, to be honest, because I liked this book, okay? But I liked it for what it was, and what it was not a thriller, okay? Whatever it wasn't a thriller. It wasn't super suspenseful. There wasn't a lot of, it was barely a mystery. And the mystery really didn't kick in until about halfway or more through the novel. You really didn't, not you really didn't care, but you really were like, okay, this is just reading like a contemporary. It's not reading like a thriller. So what's going on? Anyway. So today I want to talk about the series. Is the series better than the novel? Well, first of all, I think that the cast is doing an amazing job. Melissa McCarthy is a great Frances. I really think she is. I really had my doubts because ever since she kind of left Gilmore Girls era, as Suki, she's played these kind of over the top, goofy fun. Her turning point really was not even leaving Gilmore Girls. Her turning point was Bridesmaids, where she just became known for being funny and over the top and with her leg in the air and all this stuff. You couldn't see me kick my leg. It was an epic leg kick. But anyway, so all of these characters she's played are so goofy. I was like, oh my gosh, is she going to do a good job in this? She does a great job. I think that the first episode, I was worried. Okay, I was worried. I'm like, ooh, this character isn't very subtle. This character doesn't seem like a writer to me. And I think that she seems more writerly as the time goes on. But when I first saw her playing the character, I'm like, she's playing a little too grande dame for me, a little bit she could be a retired actress and not really an author, but her character didn't seem like an author to me. But as the show has gone on, we're on what, see episode 6 at this point. I'm so behind in covering this. Y'all don't care. Anyway, if you're here, you don't care. So I think Melissa McCarthy is doing a good job. I think she's hitting a lot of great emotional notes. I think when she's crying, when she confronts the samurai armor and she's hitting it with the samurai sword and all this stuff, I'm like, okay, they're hitting good notes. The Marconi family, again, the Marconi family is getting hitting really good emotional notes, and you really feel for those characters. The characters that's kind of being over kind of shoved off to the side is the married couple with Jessica and her husband. What is her husband's name? I forgot already. Oh my gosh, I forgot his name. It's not on here. I'm looking. Oh, his name is Ben. Jessica and Ben. Jessica and Ben are a little bit boring. They're like, oh, we won the lottery, but we're young and we don't know what we want to do with our lives. And I'm like, wow, what a struggle. What a horrible struggle. It's that meme, it's you only attract what you fear. Oh, winning the lottery. Oh, I'm scared. I wish I had that problem. Before we get to Masha, I'm going to get to Nicole Kidman and Masha in a second. But before we get to her, I think the Marconis are doing a good job. And I think that Jessica is doing an all right job. Now, Tony. Let's talk about Tony and Frances. I think that I think he's doing a really good job as Tony. But like I said, I'm a Melissa McCarthy fan. Every movie she's in, she has one of two love interests. And this guy, Bobby Cannavale, is like her go-to love interest. Like in like 3 different movies. This is like the 3rd movie they've been together. And I know that you're thinking, you're like, yeah, but like Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter do the same thing. And I'm like, yeah, but they are character actors. Every time they're playing against each other in a film, they are tip to toe, all in makeup. They're like in full drag, playing all of these like old-timey Victorian Gothic characters, or whatever show they're in. They're completely transformed. These two are always playing contemporary normal people, always falling in love with each other. It's like, how many times can I watch these 2 people date each other? My God. That's like, I almost want to see them. Even in her last movie, they shook it up with a superhero movie. Oh, I forgot the name of it. Thunder Force, I think. No, wait. I think that's whatever it's called. But where she falls in love with Jason Bateman with the crab hands. Is it crab hands or lobster hands? Whatever. Let's move on. Let's talk about Lars. Because in the novel, okay, I like how they've done everybody's character. They kind of blow off Jessica and Ben because they're almost like filler. So it can be like 9 people. I mean, the show could have been 7 people and the plot really wouldn't change. No offense to Jessica and Ben. Their story is just like whatever. But their sex scene was so awkward. I was like, oh God. Their first sex scene. If you watch it, go back and watch it. Their first sex scene was so awkward. Anyway, they've changed a lot of the characters for the better. I am on the fence about Lars because Lars is supposed to be, he's supposed to have this big emotional thing where he is coming to terms with his boyfriend wants a baby. And over the course of the 10 days in the novel, he decides that he wants to have a baby with his boyfriend too. But in the show, they're already broken up. And he's an investigative reporter. And I'm like, his vibe does not say journalist. His vibe says cop. Like when you, honestly, his vibe says police. Call the police. He like seems like a police officer. He just doesn't have the same vibe at all. And I liked in the novel, he's like funny and quippy and really handsome. Like, I guess you could like say that the guy in the show is the actor, Luke Evans, is attractive or whatever. He is. But like in the novel, he's like pretty. Like he's almost like a really polished version of like Neil Patrick Harris is what I would imagine. But like in the show, he's kind of gruff. Like I said, police. He seems like a police officer. But I don't know. He seems fine. I mean, it's fine. This is what I think they did better as well. So the plot, this, like I said, was not a thriller. The show is more suspenseful. It is not super thrillery. I'm not like really, maybe because I already know what's going to happen, but I think they've changed a lot. So what's going to happen may be completely different in the very end. We'll see when we get there. But I was just like, I'm not feeling like scared or, ooh, what's going to happen? I don't know. I'm interested. I'm much more interested. I think that the characters in this were interesting enough to carry me through the novel, but I think in the show, I'm more interested in what's going to happen plot-wise, and I don't think we dive as deep with some of the characters, but I think what we do dive deep on is okay. And I think that going back to Tony, this is all over the place, whatever, but going back to Tony, I think that his stuff is fleshed out actually better in the show. I think they do a better job with Tony in the show than in the novel. They give him more time and attention, which makes sense because he and Frances have this relationship budding. So they get her perspective and they dive deeper into his, which is good. Let's talk about who they've changed for the better. I think that Masha, okay, she's supposed to have been gone through this transformation in the novel where she was like fat and had a heart attack at work because she was such a workaholic and she didn't take good care of herself. And then they like, Yao is the doctor that saved her life. So that in the novel made sense. And I I'm wondering how it works in the show, how they meet each other. I don't know if they've gotten there yet, or maybe I just haven't, maybe I just don't remember it. But I think it's interesting how she's basically sexually manipulating all her staff. Lawsuit waiting to happen, by the way. But also, Nicole Kidman kills me. Like, I feel like it's in her contract somewhere. She's like, I'm either wearing a maxi dress or I'm naked. That's it. I don't want to wear anything else. I want to wear a maxi dress or I want to be in a swimsuit. That's it. You know, like, and she was laying there naked with her butt cheeks ablazing, ass up in the air, like, yeah, I just banged this young man. Now I'm casually reading my phone, naked, kicking my feet in the air, la la la, and reading my threat that I'm getting in my text message. Like, she's like, booked and busy, you know? I'm just like, what is the deal? Like, Nicole Kidman, she doesn't give a shit. I love her. I love her so much. I hope people know that, like, that's none of this is a criticism. I'm like, yes, get it, girl. She looks so, like, elegant all the time, walking around in the forest, meditating, jumping off of cliffs. Now, I've said all the positive. Let's say the negative. Sure, Nicole Kidman was not putting in work on that accent. She was not putting in, I don't care. She wasn't working hard on that accent. She wasn't. That accent comes in and out like bad TV reception. Like, that. Her accent comes in and out like cell service at my job, okay? Let's just call it what it is. Her accent is spotty at best. It's not strong, it's not consistent. Sorry, that's the truth. But other than that, I think they did a great job. She's perfect casting, except for her accent. I think if she worked harder on it, she could have done it because she's a talented actress. That's why I'm like holding her feet to the fire a little bit. She could have done a little more with it, but let's move on. Yeah. So someone's threatening to kill her, and we're saying, and her plot line is more fleshed out, and I think given more details that make it more suspenseful and make it more of a thriller. How was she shot? Why was she shot? What all did she do? What was her former business? It's so many questions. Who's threatening her? Is it one of the 9 people? Etc., etc. Like, that's a good, they've done good on that. So overall, what am I going to say that the show is better than the book? I think that the show is also very cinematic, beautifully done. The cinematography is gorgeous. But I think overall, is the show better than the book? I think in a lot of aspects it is, but I think that one thing that they're getting wrong is pacing. I think that they've added more suspense, but they've also added much more runtime. They've added so many more hours. I think that this, like, they've added things, but they haven't added that much. This could have been like, we're on episode 6. I don't know how many it's going to be. It's probably like 8 or 7. It's usually between 7 to 10. But I hope that it's like 7 or 8 episodes. I think we should be rounding the corner soon. This could have been a movie. This book could have been a movie. It could have been like an hour and 30-minute movie. Like, honestly, honest God, from what's actually in here, they could have made a movie. They added some, but like, I think that the pacing is kind of long, but I think that overall they've added so many good details, it does make up for it. So I think that it is worth it so far, and I think it's low-key kind of better. This is one of those rare cases where it might be better. Might be better than the book. So tell me what you think. If you've gotten this far, leave me either a book if you thought the book was better and you're watching it, if you read the book, or show me a little, I guess a movie camera. They have that little movie camera down there, or one of those little choppy things. If you think you prefer the show. I think that I prefer the show. I think that the book was good. I think the show is good, but a little bit better. Sorry, but you know what? Liane is involved with the show, so I also feel good saying that. Like, I feel good because she's involved, so it's not like I'm dissing her book. I might diss it a little. Bye.